Hello, Brabs. We're back with Napoleon, Bisexual Emperor by Major General Frank Richardson, who I swore I would look into, but I still haven't. We're in the Footnotes, Chapter 7. Mistresses. Contemporary gossip suggested that George, like Grassini, was amongst Wellington's spoils of war, and that she found his vigor an improvement on Napoleon's lovemaking. Personally, I cannot imagine Wellington, at the peak of his fame, courted assiduously by women of all ages, being remotely interested in the whale, except as an object of curiosity. Footnote 2. According to Countess Potocka, who was told in the spiciest manner by Colonel Wansowicz, who was also in the sleigh, Napoleon, after sulking for a few minutes, agreed with Caulaincourt, who argued that it would make a very bad impression that the emperor should be thinking of his love affairs when he had lately abandoned his routed army. Countess Potocka must be considered a hostile witness. Her version of Marie Waluska's great romance reads, Napoleon having expressed a wish to count a Pole among his conquests, one of the right kind was chosen, lovely and dull. Married at 16 to an octogenarian who never appeared in public. In society, she had the position of a young widow. Her extreme youth, combined with such convenient circumstances, gave room to all sorts of surmises, and if Napoleon was her last lover, it was asserted that he had not been the first. Footnote 3. Dr. James Roche Verling, a likable young Irishman who was medical officer to the artillery when he was sent to live in Longwood, where he stayed for some 15 months in 1818 and 1819. He never treated or even spoke to Napoleon, who refused to see him because he was a nominee of the governor. Unremitting efforts were made to persuade him to agree to certain conditions on which Napoleon would consult him. He was even offered money, but he refused to enter into any secret agreement and insisted that he was just an army doctor posted to Longwood House. Finally, Montholon tried to persuade Napoleon to rely on Verling's honor as a doctor not to disclose any little disease or infirmity. And Napoleon then put to Montholon the hypothetical case of whether Verling would tell the governor if the emperor got venereal disease, la chaude pisse. Mr. Cronin is in error in supposing that this question was put by Napoleon to Verling himself. Pardon, I've been sneezing. Verling's main confidant in Longwood and his most tiresome patient was Madame Bertrand, an hysterical and hypochondriac woman whom he found to be always tormented and tormenting him with 1,000 chimerical complaints and with a mind perpetually agitated by female jealousy. The diary kept by Verling on Longwood was presented to Napoleon III, or the Turd as I call him, who placed it in the National Archives. I am grateful to Miss Rosemary Dunhill for enabling me to read the typewritten copy of it which is in the Bodleian Library. Footnote 4. Dr. Hillemond, Pathologie de Napoleon, 1970, dismisses the allegations of affairs in St. Helena, holding that Napoleon's sexual desire was extinct, but not his obsession with sex, his urge to talk about it and to make boastful claims of past prowess. Dr. Hillemond absolves Henry of having fabricated his description of Napoleon's hypogonadism and suggests that Napoleon's sensitiveness about this lay at the root of his refusal to see any English doctor. He believes that O'Mara's veiled reference to a special reason why Napoleon would not accept any doctors appointed by Hudson Lowe concerned Napoleon's hypogonadism. Towards the end of his life, Dr. Arnaud was only allowed to examine him in the dark. Dr. Hillemond quotes Gourgaud for this remark by Napoleon. Si O'Mara escrit, I'm not trying to read that here. You look at it. You're the fucking smart guy. Footnote 5. The Allied commissioners in St. Helena, Baron von Sturner, or is it Sturmer? Sturmer, the Austrian commissioner, was a young professional diplomat who had married a French woman just before sailing from St. Helena. A quarrel with the governor, Sir Hudson Lowe, in 1818 led to his recall. It is on. All right. I thought the light was off. Count Balmain, the Russian, was of Scottish descent, the most likable and able of the three. His memoirs are regarded as the most trustworthy. He got on well with Hudson Lowe and married one of his stepdaughters. The French commissioner was a member of the old aristocracy, the Marquis of Montchenu. Napoleon's opinion that he was just an old fool was soon shared by all. Footnote 6. When it was reported that the baby had been born in a caul, i.e. with the fetal membrane covering the head, Napoleon remarked, "Et moi aussi, je suis né quouf," the descriptive French term for this uncommon condition, which was considered lucky in Corsica. This comment was taken by some as support for Gourgaud's insinuations, as an example of the rubbish which people were prepared to believe. Some say this whole book is rubbish. I do not disagree. Goodbye. Goodbye, Prof.